Right now, as you watch this, someone who lies, cheats, and manipulates is getting promoted over the honest person who's worked twice as hard. Someone who breaks promises being chosen over the loyal person who's kept every commitment. Someone who puts themselves first is being loved by the person who rejected someone who would have died for them. This isn't happening in some distant reality. This is happening in your life right now, today, while you sit there wondering why being good feels like a curse. You've been programmed to lose. Every moral lesson you learned, every virtue you've cultivated, every sacrifice you've made, they aren't making you a better person. They're making you a perfect victim. And the most devastating part? You've been doing this to yourself, convinced that your suffering is noble, that your defeat is virtuous, that your pain is proof of your purity. Friedrich Nietzsche spent his life revealing the most brutal truth ever discovered about human nature, the entire moral system. You worship is a psychological warfare tactic designed to keep you weak, controllable and grateful for scraps while others feast on the banquet of life. Every religion tells you to be humble. Every parent teaches you to share. Every teacher demands you follow rules. Every society conditions you to put others first. But ask yourself this question and let it burn through your consciousness. Who benefits when you re-humble? Generous, rule-following, and self-sacrificing? Not you. You've been turned into a psychological slave, and your chains are made of virtues. Your prison is built from your own goodness. Your weakness is disguised as strength, your servitude as service, your defeat as dignity. But today, that ends. Today you discover why good people are systematically engineered to fail, how moral programming functions as a control mechanism, more sophisticated than any dictatorship, and most importantly, how to break free from this psychological cage without becoming the monster you've been taught to fear. But I am warning you now, what you're about to learn will shatter every comfortable belief you have about yourself, about others, and about how the world really works. You will never be able to unknow what I'm about to tell you. Your innocence dies today. Your comfortable delusions are about to be murdered by truth. The question is, are you ready to be born again, or will you run back to the safety of your beautiful lies? Listen carefully, because I am about to reveal the most sophisticated enslavement system ever created, one so perfect that its victims defend it, promote it, and sacrifice themselves for it while never realizing they're trapped. You are not a good person. You are a domesticated person. Every moral virtue you possess is a psychological leash. Every ethical principle you follow is a behavioral constraint. Every moment of self-sacrifice you're proud of is evidence of your successful programming. You've been trained like a circus animal to perform tricks called goodness, while your trainers, the truly powerful, collect the rewards of your performance. Here's how the system works. From birth, you're bombarded with messages that being selfish is evil, that taking what you want is wrong, that putting yourself first is immoral. You're taught that good people suffer, that virtue is its own reward, that the meek shall inherit the earth. These aren't spiritual truths, they're psychological control mechanisms. While you're busy being good, being fair, being considerate, being selfless, others are taking everything you're too moral to claim. While you're waiting your turn, they're cutting in line. While you're playing by the rules, they're rewriting them. While you're being humble, they're being aggressive. While you're being patient, they're being urgent. While you're being good, they're being effective. And here's the sickest part. When you lose, when you get passed over, rejected, betrayed, or abandoned, you don't blame the system. You blame yourself. I must not be good enough, you think. I need to be even better, even more selfless, even more giving. So you double down on the very behaviors that guarantee your defeat. You've been taught that the path to success is through virtue, but look around you. Look at who has money, power, influence, and love. Are they the most virtuous people you know? Or are they the most strategic? Are they the most selfless? Or are they the most self-serving? Are they the most moral? Or are they the most effective? The people who control your life, your boss, your government, your society, they don't follow the moral rules they impose on you. They lie when it serves them. They cheat when it benefits them. They manipulate when it empowers them. They've learned what you refuse to accept, that morality is a luxury for the powerless and a tool for the powerful. You know what's really happening? You're playing a rigged game. You're trying to win a chess match while everyone else is playing poker. You re-following rules that exist specifically to keep you from winning, while believing that following these rules is what makes you worthy of victory. Every act of kindness you perform that is unreciprocated is training the world to take from you without giving back. Every moment of patience you show toward disrespect is teaching others that disrespecting you has no consequences. Every time you put someone else's needs before your own, you're communicating that your needs don't matter and the world listens. The system has convinced you that your weakness is strength, that your defeat is victory, that your suffering is success. It has made you proud of your chains, grateful for your cage, and defensive of your oppression. But why does this system exist? Why would society want to keep good people down? The answer will make your blood boil.
If you're feeling that shift in perspective happening right now, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support.
The most successful conspiracy in human history isn't hidden in secret societies or government agencies. It's hiding in plain sight inside your own mind, disguised as virtue. Society needs good people to be losers. It depends on it. The entire economic, social, and political structure of civilization requires a massive population of moral, obedient, self-sacrificing individuals who work hard, consume products, follow rules, and never question why they're getting so little in return for giving so much. If everyone realized that playing by the rules is a guaranteed path to mediocrity, if everyone understood that being good is a strategy for being exploited, if everyone discovered that moral behavior is systematically unrewarded, the entire system would collapse overnight. That's why they start programming you in childhood. That's why every story, every movie, every song, every lesson teaches you that heroes are self-sacrificing, that villains are selfish, that good triumphs over evil. They're not teaching you truth. They're installing psychological software that will run your entire life. Here's the conspiracy. The people at the top of every hierarchy, the wealthy, the powerful, the influential, they know these moral rules are for other people. They follow a completely different operating system. They understand that in a world of limited resources, someone wins and someone loses, and they've decided it won't be them. They've learned what Nietzsche discovered, that moral systems are tools of social control, not universal truths. They use morality as a weapon to control others while exempting themselves from its constraints. They preach virtue while practicing power. They demand fairness while taking advantage. They promote equality while accumulating superiority. And they need you to believe in morality more than they believe in it themselves, because your moral behavior is what makes their immoral behavior possible. Your honesty makes their dishonesty profitable. Your fairness makes their unfairness advantageous. Your selflessness makes their selfishness successful. You want to know why good people finish last? Because someone has to finish last, and society has convinced good people that finishing last is honorable. You want to know why nice guys don't get the girl? Because someone has to be rejected, and society has taught nice guys that being rejected proves they're too good for this world. The most brutal truth of all, your goodness is their business model. Your virtue is their profit margin. Your morality is their competitive advantage. They've turned your strengths into their weapons against you. Every time you choose to be the person, you're choosing to be smaller in the eyes of everyone who matters. Every time you turn the other cheek, you're advertising that you're safe to attack. Every time you sacrifice for others, you're proving that your needs are negotiable while theirs are not. But here's where it gets even darker. The system doesn't just benefit from your goodness, it punishes your attempts to escape it. When you try to be more assertive, they call you aggressive. When you try to prioritize yourself, they call you selfish. When you try to demand respect, they call you difficult. They've created a social prison where the punishment for trying to leave is being labeled as everything you've been programmed to fear becoming. You're trapped in a psychological double bind. Be good and lose, or be bad and be condemned. But what if this entire framework is false? What if there's a third option that transcends both goodness and evil? The moment you truly understand what I'm telling you, your innocence dies. The moment you see how completely you've been manipulated, your naivety dies. The moment you realize that your entire worldview is built on lies designed to control you, your old self dies, and something else is born. Nietzsche called this the death of God, not the literal death of a deity, but the death of the moral authority outside yourself that you've been serving. When you realize that no cosmic justice system is coming to reward your virtue, when you understand that no universal force is tracking your good deeds, when you accept that the universe is fundamentally amoral, you face a terrifying choice: collapse into nihilistic despair, or become your own source of meaning, value, and power. Most people choose despair. They can't handle the responsibility of creating their own moral framework. They can't bear the weight of making their own decisions without external validation. They can't stand the loneliness of not being part of the moral herd. But some people, the ones who become truly powerful, choose the harder path. They accept that if there's no inherent meaning in the universe, they must create meaning. If there's no cosmic justice, they must create their own justice. If there's no universal morality, they must develop their own moral code. This is what Nietzsche meant by Übermensch, not a superior race, but a superior mindset. The mindset of someone who has transcended the need for external moral validation and has become their own moral authority. When you become your own moral authority, everything changes. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What do I will to do?" You stop seeking permission from society and start granting permission to yourself. You stop following other people's rules and start writing your own. This doesn't mean becoming evil. Evil is just another form of slavery to your worst impulses instead of your highest ideals. This means becoming authentic, operating from your deepest truth instead of society's expectations. When you become authentic, you discover something shocking. You can be good and powerful. You can be moral and effective. You can be virtuous and victorious. But only when your goodness serves your authentic will rather than society's programming. You can choose to help others, but only after you've helped yourself. You can choose to be generous, but only from a position of abundance. You can choose to be kind, but only from a position of strength. You can choose to be moral, but only when morality aligns with your authentic goals. The difference between a good person and a powerful person is this: a good person does good because they're supposed to. A powerful person does good because they choose to. A good person is moral because they fear being bad. A powerful person is moral because they will to be good. When you operate from authentic choice rather than programmed compulsion, you become magnetic. People are drawn to your certainty, your clarity, your refusal to apologize for who you are. You stop being forgettable and become unforgettable. You stop being taken for granted and start being valued. You stop being a victim and become a force. Right now, you're standing at the edge of the abyss. Behind you is everything you've believed about yourself, about morality, about how the world works. Ahead of you is a terrifying freedom, the freedom to become who you really are beneath all the programming. Most people will read this and go back to their comfortable prison. They'll convince themselves that being good is its own reward, that virtue will eventually be recognized, that their suffering is meaningful. They'll choose the beautiful lie over the ugly truth, because the truth demands something they are not prepared to give, complete responsibility for their own life. But if you're still here, if you're still reading, if something inside you is screaming yes, even as another part of you is screaming nitrogen monoxide, then you're ready for the transformation that will change everything. Here's what happens when you stop being a good person and start being a powerful person. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve an explanation. You stop justifying your decisions to people who aren't affected by them. You stop seeking approval from people whose opinions don't matter. You stop sacrificing your needs for people who wouldn't sacrifice theirs for you. You start saying no without guilt. You start asking for what you want without shame. You start prioritizing yourself without apology. You start demanding respect without negotiation. You become selective with your time, your energy, your attention, your kindness, your generosity, your love. You realize that these are precious resources that should be invested wisely, not scattered randomly. You stop being available to everyone and become available to the people who deserve you. You stop being useful to everyone and become valuable to the people who appreciate you. You stop being kind to everyone and become loyal to the people who've earned it. The world will test you. People who benefited from your old programming will try to shame you back into compliance. They'll call you selfish, arrogant, cold, heartless. They'll accuse you of changing, of becoming someone you're not. They're right, you are changing. You are becoming someone you've never been allowed to be. You're becoming yourself. And as you transform, you'll discover something remarkable. The right people, the people who deserve you, will love this new version of you. They'll respect your boundaries. They'll appreciate your authenticity. They'll value your selective attention because they understand that scarcity creates value. You'll lose some people. Good. They were never really yours to begin with. They were attracted to what you could do for them, not who you are. Their departure is not a loss, it's a liberation. You'll gain others. Better. People who are drawn to your power, your certainty, your refusal to be anything other than exactly who you are. People who don't need you to be good. They need you to be real. This is your moment of choice. You can continue being a good person who gets good results never. Or you can become a powerful person who creates the results you want. You can keep being moral and miserable, or you can become authentic and effective. The comfortable lie is behind you. The uncomfortable truth is in front of you. Your old self is dying. Your new self is waiting to be born. Everything you've believed about goodness, morality, and virtue has been a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep you small, manageable, and controllable. Every lesson you learned about being good was a lesson in being weak. Every moral principle you follow is a limitation you've accepted. Every virtue you practice is a constraint you've internalized. The people who succeed in this world aren't the best people, they're the most effective people. They understand that reality rewards results, not intentions. They grasp that power respects power, not virtue. They realize that the world belongs to those who take it, not those who wait for it to be given. You have a choice to make right now. You can close this video, forget everything you've heard, and go back to being good and getting nothing. You can continue believing that your suffering is noble, that your defeat is dignified, that your weakness is virtuous. Or you can accept the most liberating and terrifying truth ever spoken, that you are responsible for your own life, that you create your own meaning, that you determine your own worth. You can stop being a victim of your own virtue and become the architect of your own power. But understand this, once you choose power, you can never go back to innocence. Once you see how the game is really played, you can never pretend you don't know. Once you realize that morality is a choice, not a commandment, you become responsible for every choice you make. The weak will always find reasons to stay weak. They'll tell themselves that being good is more important than being effective, that being right is more valuable than being powerful, that being moral is more meaningful than being successful. They'll wear their defeat like a badge of honor and their suffering like a crown of virtue. The strong understand that goodness without power is impotence, that morality without effectiveness is meaningless, that virtue without victory is just beautiful failure. Which are you? Now tell me in the comments, are you ready to stop being a good loser and start being a powerful winner? Are you prepared to sacrifice your comfortable lies for uncomfortable truths? Are you willing to kill your old self to birth your authentic self? If this message has awakened something dangerous and beautiful within you, if you feel your old programming cracking under the weight of this truth, if you ready to become who you were meant to be before the world taught you to be small, write in the comments, I choose power over virtue, but don't stop here. Your transformation has only begun. The next video will show you exactly how to implement this new operating system without becoming the monster you've been programmed to fear. Because understanding these principles is just the beginning. Embodying them is what separates those who talk about change from those who become the change. The sheep discuss philosophy. The wolves become philosophy. The question that will determine your entire future is simple. Which one are you? Your old life ends now. Your real life begins today. The only question is, do you have the courage to live it?